So welcome to this part of the lesson. We are in lesson 2 of domain 2 of AB-100, Microsoft Agentic AI Business Solution Architect. So design AI-powered business solution is the domain that we are on. And then what we are looking at is design agent, extensibility, Dynamics 365 AI, Power Platform, intelligent apps, Microsoft 365 agent, we build business Copilot, and the key learning part is agentic AI design, task, autonomous, prompt and response, extensibility with MCP, actions, computer use, connectors and foundry, orchestration, using Office 365, Dynamics 365, and Power Platform agent. All right, so on this slide, we have a contact center. So this are agents for Dynamics 365 contact center channel. We have looked at sales channel. We have looked at the entire Dynamics 365, and we look at CRM and sale in the previous lesson. Now let's look at Dynamics 365 contact center, and these are the architecture terms that you should understand here. So you have voice, maybe voice in email. You can have voice in Copilot Studio or voice in email. So agents that will just send voice note to email, and instead of somebody opening and reading, you just send a voice note, and then the user can just open the email and listen to voice. Then we also have voice in Copilot, agent that will speak instead of generating text. So you are using language model here, NLU, language understanding. You understand speech to text and text to speech. Then we have live chats. So these are just agents that allow you to chat using like a chatbot. You ask question and then it generates answer immediately. We have sentiment agent that will understand customer sentiment and be empathetic and speak to customer, based on that will understand customer experience, customer interaction, customer behavior and everything. Then you have omni-channel platform where all this can operate as a whole. And then we have escalation, a term, an architecture or an agent that will escalate anything that it cannot undo. Anything that the agent is not programmed to undo, it will escalate it to human, and then it will call human to answer. So it can be in form of live chat or voice, where customer can just come and speak to agent and agent answer in speech, or live chat where the agent and the customer can chat together in real time, and then escalation, where the level to which it will escalate to human, where human is needed, and then it just passes the situation to human. This has been implemented in many applications, many financial applications, where you just do live chat, or maybe on WhatsApp, or a chatbot integrated with the company application. So how do you design for this? First thing, channels include, the channels you can use include voice, live chat, SMS, WhatsApp, omni-channel experiences. Okay, you can also use team or email. Okay, so these are where you can use these patterns. So you can integrate them as a chat and then deploy in your website or in your application as part of your application. But WhatsApp is very, very common. For example, many banks in Nigeria is operating this WhatsApp model. We have Zenith Bank, we have other channels. We have many applications that are not using, many companies that are not using WhatsApp. They have a chatbot integrated into their application where you can just go there and chat live, and the agent will respond at any time thing it cannot undo. Then it escalates to human, and then human will come in. So we have agents use custom profile, case history, sentiment, channel, priority, and interaction context. So these agents, they use sentiment analysis to understand the behavior of the customer and what the customer is going through, and they are also empathetic with the customer. So they use case history, sentiment, channel, priority, and interaction context. So they also understand customer history, what the customer has asked before, what the customer's behavior was before. Then the sign pattern here include guardrails, this privilege, omnichannel awareness, and escalation path. So very, very important. So even with voice and live chat, agents should not expose sensitive company information to users. And then Agents should not up or expose user information in the name of chat, because anybody can steal somebody's identity and log in and start chatting. So agents should not just expose users information during live chat. Okay, so an agent should not say he can do what he cannot do, should know what when he should escalate to human. Then give agent this privilege to prevent user information and company information. Let agent be omni-channel aware. Let agent be aware of the channel they are using. They are deployed on WhatsApp, let them be aware of the WhatsApp. They are used on application, let them be aware of the application. And then let agents know when to escalate problem to human in the loop, so human can take on and begin with the customer. Contact center agent should reduce handle time while improving service quality and compliance. So contact center agent should not operate in loop. It should not chat with customer forever. Okay, so chat that should take just 5 minutes should not be extended to 10 minutes, should not be extended to 20 minutes, because the agent doesn't know what to do, or because the customer doesn't have what to do and is just asking questions that agent cannot undo, or just or beating around the bush. Let contact center agent be specific and let them know when to stop and escalate to human to improve service quality and compliance as well. Then we have a Copilot Studio. So Copilot Studio is where you can also design a single agent or multi-agent for simple tasks or complex tasks. Okay, so they can be used for agents that you want to design and develop that cannot be done in Microsoft 365 Copilot. So you use Copilot Studio for it. It has two connector, can connect to database, can connect to knowledge source, it has computer use, it has analytic platform, it has it allow you to also select models based on the complexity of the task. You can select small language model or LLM. It also allow you to fine tune to give system prompt and user prompt, and then it also allow you to connect to index database like Graph database and so on and so forth. So these are the architecture terms that you should understand here in Copilot Studio Task Agent. So you should understand goals. The agent should be goal oriented. You should understand skills. These are, prompt or instruction on the action that the agent should take or what the agent should do. So skill are just like defining the intellectual capability of the agent. If you want to build an agent for a procurement manager, for example, you are going to train the agent with the skill of a procurement manager. You are building for a contract administrator. You are going to use everything that the contract administrator does on a daily basis as a skill for the agent, so that the agent can perform the task. So skill are just like intellectual instruction given to agent to perform tasks. So skills is very, very important. We have actions. So you should define the action that the agent should do. So step by step, be sequential here, but you can also be parallel. But make sure actions that the agent should do are well and clearly defined. Then we have knowledge. Also have the source of knowledge that you can use to augment the agent, um, instruction to prevent against hallucination. You already have actions defined. You already have skills that has been given to the agent in form of prompt or maybe a skill file. Then you also supplement, add knowledge so that the agent can use historical knowledge from the company to augment the action, to perform the action, and to also act as grounded inputs that will enable it to understand the company operations, company data, and whether to perform the task or to reject the task. So knowledge is very, very important. You can connect to all the sources we have said. We have talked about SharePoint, OneDrive, database, warehouse, lakehouse, OneLake, Azure Blob Storage, DynamoDB. Knowledge sources is very, very important. You can easily connect using connector from Copilot Studio or using an MCP server. Then we have safety rules, very, very important. Guardrail, policy implementation for boundary compliance, and the governance, role-based access control is very, very important. So let's see the point we have under tax agent. The tax agent executes specific business process with clear goals and tax boundary. Very, very important here. So task agents have clear goals, they have clear boundaries, they have clear actions and clear skill, and they are connected to the right agent. So core components of task agent are goals. You define the goals, that is what the agent should achieve at the end of the day. What is the output that you want to see after the agent has performed a task? They have a skills. So just like if you want to employ somebody, you want to employ an accountant, you will make, when you check the CV, what you should be seeing in the CV is all the skills that correlate with the skill that you want to employ the person for. You will not go and employ, you know, you will not go and employ maybe you will not go and employ a sales engineer as an accountant, because the skill of a sales engineer is different from the skill of an accountant, for instance. So you give the agent the right skill to perform this task, you give the agent the right actions. So actions are, step it should take to perform a particular task. So actions are very, very important. So goal is the achievement, what the agent should achieve. Actions are what it should do to achieve the goal. And the knowledge is where it can fetch information to perform the actions. And then we have context. Context are, specific instruction that are of high importance that in the ecosystem. So context are just specific instruction. Such time, it can be business terms or business language that are used that will help the agent use clear language to perform the task, the action, and generate outputs that correlate with the business use case. And then we have safety rules. So very, very important: least privilege, guardrail, and role-based access control. So example here include creating support tickets. You feed the agent with the knowledge, with the skills, with the goal, what you want to see. At the end of the day, support tickets should be created. That should be the goal. And the action should be the step of creating supporting tickets. And the knowledge should be everything needed to create the support ticket. And the context should be the support ticket terms, not any term that is outside the support ticket operation. Then we have updating customer record. Another one is updating customer record, or is to follow all this pattern and should contain all these components that applies to updating customer record. Another one is retrieving inventory. These are specific agents that you can uh, build use cases. Retrieving inventory is another one. Sending confirmation is another one. So these are particular task agents, and then this is how you should build a task agent. Core components that you should include in a task agent, and you must make sure that they are clearly and well defined. Task agents are best when the workflow is repeatable and the allowed action set is explicit. So very, very important. Task agents are good when you are building a workflow that follow a particular pattern and that is repeatable. And then the allowed action set, the allowed action set is explicit. So when the action is clearly defined, not complex action or custom action, that will require another complexity. So task agent can simply be built in Copilot Studio, and make sure they include these core components. So we are still on Copilot Studio. Now let's look at autonomous agents. Autonomous agents are different from task agents. Task agent only implement workflow. Autonomous agent does not need trigger. Okay, task agent may need a trigger. Autonomous agent does not need trigger. They just perform actions. They act, they plan, they reason, they react, reasoning and act. They operate in loops, and they just work without any human supervision or human input. Okay, so autonomous agent, this is what the workflow or architecture look like. So if you want to deploy an autonomous agent in Copilot Studio, follow this pattern. The first thing, you should have a use case. Remember, everything starts with requirement gathering and pain points. So turn the pain point into a use case, okay, and then design the architecture. So when you identify the solution that you can use for the use case or the problem, then the next thing is knowledge. Check whether the knowledge is available. Check whether the domain have repository of knowledge that you can use to support the use case, maybe on SharePoint, on OneDrive, or database that you can turn into a RAG database, and so on. Then connect the knowledge to a trigger. So trigger can be like, a server that will extract knowledge and then send it to an agent for agent to take action. Then connect the trigger to an action, connect actions to test, and connect test to deployment. So this is the workflow that you can follow to build an autonomous agent in Copilot Studio. Autonomous agents operate independently based on goals, triggers, instructions, knowledge, and actions. Okay, so they operate independently. They do not need human effort, human input, or supervision. So this design required boundary autonomy. So make sure that the fact that the agent is autonomous does not mean it should not be bounded. It should still operate within company policy. It should still comply with company policy. It should still have this privilege and role-based access control. It should not have entire access to information that it should not access. So design boundary. Autonomy must be bounded. Remember, autonomy must be bounded. Make sure you also design for clear escalation. Make sure that the agent should escalate to human where needed. It should not perform a task that it should never perform because of autonomy, in the name of autonomy. So make sure you also monitor the agent. Use application insight or Copilot analytic platform to monitor the agent, and then approval for high risk action. Make sure the agent escalate to human in the loop for approval for any task that is of high risk. Any task, for example, that involve high financial risk should be escalated to human for approval. So these are the steps of building autonomous agent in Copilot Studio. So we have conversation design. So how do you design conversational agent in maybe Copilot Studio or Microsoft Foundry? So what you should be looking at here is prompt response agent. Conversation agent are prompt/response agent, topics, and fallback. Okay, so prompt and response agent, topics, and fallback. So we have what we call fallback loop, and then we have topic in Copilot Studio where you can have add topic to an agent. So the architecture terms you should look at here is NLU boost, okay, natural language understanding boost, how you can make the agent understand natural language coming from human in form of voice or text. Then generative answer. As part of the architecture, the agent should be able to generate quality answer as an output. Then the agent should also use topics, should be able to use topic. They're going to understand what topic are in point number 2 here. Then the agent should be able to use fallback. We also understand fallback here, and agents should also use system topic. So system topic are system prompt or system instruction that is asking as the first prompt for the system. It acts as the after the model, it acts as the agent brain. Okay, it makes the agent a specialist. So that is what the system instruction does. So here, let's come to our point here. Prompt-driven agents use NLU boost, generative answer, conditions, trigger, and system topic. So any agent that is prompt-driven must use natural language understanding boost, must be able to generate answer, okay, in form of summary, form of text, in form of voice, and so on, in form of speech, and so on. Then it should be able to use conditions, okay? It should not loop forever. It should be able to use conditions. They should be able to use triggers and system topic. So let's look at what topics are. Topic model intent-driven conversation with trigger phrases, questions, messages, conditions, and actions. So you give the agent a topic, and inside this topic, you have phrases or paragraphs, okay, that contains questions, that contains messages, messages that the agent can send, that agent can generate as output, or that contain the boundary of the discussion of any prompt that is coming into it. Then it contains conditions, the answers it can generate and the ones it cannot generate, and it contains action. So the action that the agent should take whenever it receives a question from the user or an input from the user. So this is what topic model contains. So it contains trigger phrases, questions, messages, condition, and action. Now let's look at fallback. Fallback design should acknowledge misunderstanding, suggest alternative, and escalate when required. So when topic is not enough, then you should use fallback design. So fallback design enables the agent to escalate to human when required. It enables the agent to to suggest alternative routes. If if it makes suggestion, for example, if you do use some chart, so the chart will generate a list of what it can do, or the action that it can take. Then if you choose an action, it perform it. But if the action you want to perform is not in the list of the action it has generated, then it will just give you another prompt that you need to escalate to human. So it will suggest alternative route when it cannot perform a task. And then it also acknowledges misunderstanding. If you are giving it something that it doesn't understand, it will acknowledge that it doesn't understand it and then escalate to human for you to continue. So it should have a response agent should have fallback design. Very, very important. It should not hallucinate and it should not loop forever on a task that it cannot perform. Prompt and response agents support open-ended questions. Okay, so you should not also design a prompt and response agent to be limited to particular action or limited to particular question. Even though in your topic you've given some set of questions that it can accept, you should still give room for open-ended question that is not in the topic. Okay, that the agent can also answer. And if you cannot answer it, then it escalates to human or suggest a fallback alternative. So dynamic responses should also be in the design, and the event-driven workflow should be part of prompt and response agent. All right, let's come back to Copilot Studio again. So agent flow and prompt action. How do you design agent flow and prompt action in Copilot? So we have this component that you should put into consideration and the purpose of the component. First is agent flow. This is available in Copilot for automating business process using triggers and action. So this agent flow is just like Power Automate, but it is more of a it is more autonomous than Power Automate. Power Automate only uses trigger. So agent flow uses agent as a trigger. It doesn't use a manual trigger. So it's good for automating business process using triggers and action. Okay, just like you have in data engineering, where you can just attach trigger. You attach a trigger to a pipeline, and the pipeline will trigger anytime it hit the time that you define. If you attach a trigger maybe for 7 a.m. every day, whenever it's 7 a.m., the trigger will fire and the pipeline will run. So that's how agent flow run. It uses agent trigger and action to automate processes. Then we have triggers. So you can use custom triggers or triggers in agent flow or Power Automate. So user request can trigger an action, schedules can trigger an action, events can also trigger an action, data change can trigger an action, workflow signal can also trigger an action. Then we have actions. So actions are specific tasks that has been designed for the agent to perform. So, and they are also designed in form of prompts. So these are under prompt action. So we have actions like send email, update record, call API, create task, route approval. So these are actions that you can define. Then we have prompt actions. So these are reusable prompt blocks for summarize, transform, extract, generate, and classify. So prompt actions are reusable prompts that you have defined for performing the task, and they can be zero shot, few shot, it can be chain of thought or tree of thought. But I will for Copilot Studio, you can just stop at a few shots, okay, for the simplicity or the complexity. Then prompt coach structure. So this is used for goal, context, instruction, example, and output format. So prompt coach enable you to structure the prompts for specific goal, context, instruction, example, and output format. So these are how you can use agent flows and prompt actions, and these are the purpose they are used for. You come across them in Copilot Studio. So this is the end of this section 2 in design AI powered business solution. So see you in the next section. This is section 3 of domain 2. And if you are just joining us in this channel, please kindly like and subscribe to receive more of our video. Thank you.